Hey everybody, this is Bran'sTech, and this is a video of why exactly I use Android and why I love it so much. So Android is the open source operating systems made to use for mobile devices. Before I go any further, what I mean by operating systems is that there are many different versions of it, including Android TV, Android Wear, and Android Auto. And to take that out even further, there's also the Android Open Source Project, which is made for even more open source uses than Google's version of Android. Difference is that Google's regular Android, which is made for tablets and phones, tablets having slightly different features, optimization, both of those being included with Google Play, as well as all the other versions except for AOSP. Many people actually do not know that, which is a fun fact. Next, I will make a video in maybe a day or so, even maybe earlier or later than that, about fun facts that you probably didn't know about tech companies. But anyway, Google usually incorporates a game or something within their operating system. Kind of like a few different Easter eggs within the OS, which I believe I have a video on that, but just in case I will make another one. And my favorite was definitely LLAN from Android Lollipop 5.1. And of course, the newer version, I'm assuming it's called MLAN for Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow. One thing I love about Android is the fact that you can do pretty much everything you need to do for computing on it somehow, some way. For example, I was actually able to make my Android tablet, the LG G-Pad 7.0 LTEA, be almost like a replacement to the laptop with just a few exceptions. And I was able to hook up my flash drives without any problem or any apps installed. Although for the programs I did have to get app replacements for them. A lot of them actually made by those companies or Google, and everything seemed to be compatible. I was able to hook up my USB to my printer and all of that with some plugins, and I had a very smooth experience as I was waiting for my laptop to be repaired. And I will put the link to that video in the description below, as well as at the end of this video. And another cool thing I know about Android is that how customizable you can make it. And this is like the big form factor and the big difference between the Android and iOS mobile operating systems, which I will cover in another video as well. But just a quick run through here. Android has a lot of different ways you can customize the operating system and make it your own. And although iOS does have some customization, it is more exterior than it is interior. What I mean by that is that on an iPhone, usually when you say customization, you generally mean getting a new phone case, or in fact or just writing your name on the back of the phone or the device. While on Android, that usually means customizing the actual operating system itself to make it work better for you. Another thing I love about Android is that you don't need a lot of devices in order to get a majority of the features. Where in iOS, it works a lot better if you have the Mac, the Apple Watch, the Apple TV, and all of that hooked up together to work together. Well, where although I can do that in Android, I don't need to do anything, and everything can work together, but yet it doesn't seem as if you need another one in order to get the most functionality. For example, on an iPhone, you cannot do multitasking, which I could do on my Galaxy S5 and the Galaxy S7, which I use, as well as even my G-Pad and a lot of other different Android devices that I use, and even the ones I don't use. Where on iOS, that is limited to the iPad, usually the iPad Pro, which I think, in my opinion, is kind of odd, because I want to be able to get the most out of each of my devices, where, as with iOS, you mostly need to get them all in order to get every functionality. However, you do not need them all, but it is a very strong recommendation from Apple. But I'll explain that in another video. Also, another thing I kind of like about Android is that it lets me beta test basically everything, and it has a large variety in the Play Store. And yes, it actually is more than the App Store on iOS. I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but yes, it is a lot bigger and has a larger variety of apps, which I really do enjoy. And apps such as Instagram, the Google apps, Chrome, which is a Google app, Cortana from Microsoft, a lot of those, and even stuff like AVG, I all have running on beta, well, at least at some point, which is something that I just can't say for iOS. And also, I like the complexity of Android. And no, I am not saying that Android is hard to use. And actually, for me, I was able to pick it up pretty easily. But for me, I do not like simplicity. And to me, simplicity seems a little too simple for me. It actually makes it hard to use for me. Although I sent my first text message through an iPad a year before my first smartphone, back in 2013, I believe January actually, when I used an iPad, the iPad 2, I found it actually pretty difficult to navigate through, and that was actually before I knew what exactly was Android, and probably even before I even heard of Android for the first time. And when I first went to the Galaxy S3, my original one in August of 2013, I was able to fit to it pretty well my first time using it. And I was actually pretty new to Android, and although I've used an Android device beforehand, I did not know exactly what it was. I just knew which one I thought was popular. I wanted the S4, but I decided to get the S3 though. And there was no learning curve at all going from iOS, and it was actually a pretty good device for the years I've had a Galaxy S3. I have actually had 2 of them. Overall making 2 years. Before that, the only Android I have used was those of the Motorola Droid Razr from Verizon and the Pan-Digital Novel from Pan-Digital. But yeah, thank you for watching, and if you like it, please subscribe to my channel, and also hit the like button as well. And also, what do you like about your mobile operating system? Please tell me in the comments below. It does not have to be Android. It can be iOS. It can be Windows 10 Mobile. It can be BlackBerry 10, and so on and so on. Tizen, Ubuntu Touch. But just tell me in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.